I see. Thanks. Let me know if she does show up. You're journalists, damn it.
As our reporters report, the city is being fired on again. And about the firing on another city, which is now under control.
We heard you. Go
Despite
on.
the incessant air alert, no military equipment has been noticed by either side at the moment. Moreover, the other side reports the loss of one Black Hawk, the connection with the crew of which was lost the day before, around 9 o'clock in the evening. I remind you that our special correspondent, who was sent to the scene of the events, as well as her cameraman, disappeared around the same time. Their search continues. At the moment, we have eyewitness accounts.
What can you tell us? Did you see what happened?
Well, how to say it, that was a hell of a bang. It wrecked my car. And I haven't closed the loan on it yet. I saw the helicopter. It fell. I think it was what that exploded. My dog got concussed, and my neighbor.
And tell me, do you know that they say on the internet that something not quite normal is happening here, and not for the first time?
Are you serious? There's so much nonsense being written on the internet. It's all nonsense. There's a war going on, people are dying, and someone decided to... At the moment, we have eyewitness accounts.
What can you tell us? Did you see what happened?
What? I saw what happened? What happened? No, I mean, yes, but I don't remember. Something happened, but I don't remember. I don't remember anything at all. I'm sorry. Sorry, ma'am. You need to...
No! Holy sh... Arriving home from her night shift, the nurse found her teenage son having breakfast. Yet again, he was eating his fast food from Burger King. His mother tried to reason with him as she had before. She told him over and over again how those burgers would eventually kill him. However, the woman was actually unaware of the degree to which she was really right. The young man was rebellious and upon graduating high school, left home and went off to college. He had no desire to study, and so he found himself some work to stay occupied. Yet even with this, the son still took an opportunity to get back at his mother for her nagging. That summer, he got himself hired as a cook at a fast food restaurant. He lucked out, getting a location near Niagara Falls, Ontario. As it turns out, this vacancy was almost perpetually open. The young man soon came to learn that this place had a bad reputation, but he had already agreed to work there. Word on the street was the staff not only has a high turnover rate, but members also go missing altogether. The young man put no stock in any of these stories, though. Besides, the frequent turnover of staff in a fast food establishment is not exactly news. What's more, he was only going to work for the summertime. Then it would be time to head back to college. A little more than 2 months went by with the student working in the restaurant kitchen, and he had now saved up a good bit of money. He informed his boss that he'd be working a few more shifts, then leave to go on a trip prior to the start of the school year. Just as the guy was dreaming about his future excursions, he received an order for Frankenstein's burger. The cook began preparing a cheeseburger with 2 patties and bacon. Meanwhile, something important came up in the back of his head, yet he never really paused to consider it fully. The restaurant's menu does not even have such a dish. Nevertheless, the meal was cooked and brought out to the customer. Immediately upon taking his first bite, unusual things began to happen. He shouted something from Shakespeare, then started behaving theatrically. Then all of a sudden, the rest of the customers and restaurant staff joined in. The following day, the horrible news was relayed to the student's mother. Her son had died in a tragic event. Apparently, it was some problem with the stove at the restaurant. Right then, the woman had a terrible thought come to mind. Looks like he was killed by the burgers after all. Nevertheless, the mother was right. Fast food can be detrimental to your health, especially if you decide to go with the signature dish served at Burger King near Niagara Falls. As a gift, you'll be given SCP-5818, as well as a dose of amnestics. That is, if you even make it out alive, of course. This is the number assigned specifically to the event itself and is brought on by SCP-5818-1, otherwise referred to as Frankenstein's burger. The anomalous action is pretty much confined to only Burger King. the style of which is done in the spirit of Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. It was thanks to a post on the Parawatch Hub website that the public first became aware of the anomaly. It first appeared back in April of 2007 bearing simple instructions. The author recommended that people go to the specified restaurant and order themselves a Frankenstein burger, although the record does not exactly say what was supposed to follow afterwards. This mysterious recommendation remained on the website for several weeks. During that time, a total of 4 people decided to go with it. Only after a series of anomalous incidents did the Foundation come to find out about the object themselves. You see, when a visitor comes to the restaurant and orders a Frankenstein burger, the order is taken and fulfilled like normal. This occurs despite the fact that the restaurant does not currently offer, nor has ever offered, such a dish. The customer is then given his burger, which is designated SCP-5818-1, and it's specifically this individual that causes the anomalous phenomenon to take place. The actual appearance and taste of the burger does not differ in any way from the restaurant's normal cheeseburger made with 2 patties and bacon. Furthermore, chemical analysis and other tests revealed no abnormalities whatsoever. Nevertheless, as soon as a person takes at least one small bite, the SCP-5818 process kicks off. This is a mimetic event that will cause everyone in the restaurant to hallucinate. So far, research has shown that this event only occurs at the location near Niagara Falls. Therefore, the Foundation has constructed a temporary containment area there. The organization purchased the property, then established control over it. The restaurant still remained open and accessible to customers, and the business continued to run. Foundation agents were then positioned as its staff. A high level of mimetic resistance is one of the special requirements for working with SCP-5818. Specifically, a minimum of 75 points on the Cull Mimetic Resistance Scale. Agents cannot prevent SCP-5818 from happening. They're tasked only with observing, documenting, and eliminating any of the anomaly's consequences. Full disclosure, everyone present at the time in the temporal zone is actually treated with amnestics. Otherwise, they would surely never forget what had happened. So by now you might be chomping at the bit to learn exactly what SCP-5818 is. Then listen closely. Everything starts when the customer bites into his Frankenstein burger. Right at that moment, people currently in the restaurant suddenly become participants in an impromptu anomalous performance of sorts. The same scene is always done, one which is connected to Mary Shelley's novel. Participants are all given their roles. These people then change their behavior and even their speech to fit their particular characters. The one who specifically ordered the burger always kicks off the odd performance. After just a single bite, the customer screams loudly, hurling the burger onto the table, then climbs up onto a chair and calls everyone to attention. In a Shakespearean sort of way, he calls the burger vile and repulsive. Other customers gather around the burger and lament the fact that it's not made with natural ingredients, but rather various preservatives and flavor additives. They sigh and groan and such at being asked to eat such a revolting mass. Next, the bitten burger appears to be speaking, at least through their perspective. It was later found that they all hear the same thing. SCP-5818-1 complains that it was not created of its own volition, and curses its creator for all the suffering and hopelessness. The customers are initially horrified by the talking burger, but then after hearing out its complaint, they begin to surround the one who ordered it. This one then defends himself, saying that he only ordered it, but did not actually make it. At this point, attention turns to the cook, who had actually given life to this burger monster. The cook walks out to where the people stand, but instead they all perceive him as a green-skinned monster with stitching and seams all over. According to eyewitness descriptions given prior to the amnestics, the cook has a look just like the classical concept of the literary Frankenstein character. And it's here that the climax of SCP-5818's event begins. The talking burger, seeing the cook, asks if his conscience torments him because of what he's made. He then begins to lament his disposition in life, speaking of how everyone wishes to taste his flesh. The cook states that he regrets nothing, nor does he fear revenge. Right then, the now angry crowd of customers decide to punish this villain and charge at him. The poor man is dragged into the kitchen where he's murdered. The lifeless body is then shoved piece by piece into the oven, and it's turned on. While everyone stands around, observing the cook they've just mutilated, the anomalous burger gives his final speech. He proclaims that, in his opinion, the people should value the warmth of the heart more than delicious food. And in this case, his fate would then not be such a tragic one. The burger disappears, having conveyed morality. Only then do all the event's participants come back to their senses, still recalling everything that just took place. They're subsequently interrogated, then administered amnestics. After all of SCP-5818's effects have been erased, the restaurant returns to operating as normal. Examination of the object is more complicated than usual, due to always having at least one victim after each order. For this reason, and also because of the many civilians that participate, it's forbidden to intentionally set off the chain of events. Additionally, the Foundation has been using their special web scanner, Beta 8 Modern Prometheus, in the work done on the object. A robot is set to monitor the network for SCP-5818 data messages and promptly deletes them. It's actually not surprising that the anomalous event has the theme that it does, given that the restaurant is located right by a large horror-themed tourist attraction. The restaurant itself was decorated accordingly, with the theme of Frankenstein having been chosen for it. Foundation researchers have a lot of limits to how they can study the strange object. No one even knows exactly what ultimately brings out the mass hallucinations, as well as the root cause of the anomaly itself. I personally think that SCP-5818 is actually artificial. Think about it for a second. A certain force exists that not only has people reenacting scenes from the Frankenstein novel, but just so happens to also take the opportunity to simultaneously show that fast food is evil? Do you really think an anomaly with such clear-cut morals could have appeared on its own? Honestly, it would not surprise me to learn that the object is actually part of the examination work done by a new member of one of the connected organizations. For example, the initiation ceremonies that members of the Serpent's Hand love so much. Most likely, SCP-5818 was crafted by some parent who has fast food-addicted children. Here we have a convenient and terrifying tale, which one can tell to a child to scare them out of ever eating nasty things. Or perhaps someone just has a personal vendetta against burgers. Maybe this person gained a lot of weight from such food, or even got food poisoning from it. Some connected organizations have the goal of destroying the world, and even see themselves as more noble because of it. Therefore, it's not such a foreign concept to me to think that someone wanted to utilize anomalous forces in their war against the fast food industry. Furthermore, this is the only anomaly of its kind, so it must have been made by just one independent person. After all, one restaurant location would hardly be enough for an entire organization. What about you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And also, best refrain from eating any unfamiliar fast food.